It is April. Spring ball across the country, wrapping up whatever version of that your college team or the college team near you or that you love is dealing with right now or going through right now. I want to talk about Bill Belichick, North Carolina, and his girlfriend. I can't resist. I've been trying to hold off, and it's just too juicy. And my question is, where is Scott? How about this?
Got him, folks.
Oh, how about that headline? So Bill Belichick, younger talent in his personal life and on the field. Just signed Gio Lopez, one of the more exciting quarterbacks in the portal. You would say a big get for any school, certainly for what Bill Belichick is trying to do at North Carolina. At the same time, if you saw the clips circulating from North Carolina's spring game, it's becoming increasingly clear that his significant other is going to be a big part of things for this football program. And my issue with it is that there's a lack of self-awareness on her part. That she's taking... Look, it's hard for me to weigh in on this without sounding like a jerk either way. But I feel like, okay, let's say they're in love, and it's an odd love story, right? Okay. That's all I have to say about that. And so now she is an ally of his, a confidant of his. Look, for me in my life, Christy is way more organized than I am. And she's really helped me get things in line organizationally. Just where I'm going to be on certain days and games I'm calling. She's got a job. Her job is not being my assistant, but she can help me kind of stay focused with a lot of stuff, right? Like we're dealing with this pre-Cana because we're going to get married at Villanova Catholic Church. And, that's where I'm from. I know the folks at the Villanova Church, and she was like, it was very clear that I needed to get on this yesterday. So I called the lady and got it done. But, I would even much rather she handles that stuff, and she would rather handle it. Okay. So that's, but Christy's like low key, and I ain't Bill Belichick. Nobody cares what I'm doing. And I'm certainly not representing the state of North Carolina's college football team, which is what Bill Belichick is doing on a huge stage this year, right? All eyes are on Bill Belichick. And then you look at the spring game, and she's walking around. She's got this extremely, you would say, loud jacket on. It's very clear that she is the maestro, right, of what's going on. I don't know exactly what she's controlling. I think she's the COO of Belichick Productions, which, and I hate to pile on, that's not a real company. I read yesterday. And now she's sending emails to people, sort of crafting the image that Bill is going to have at North Carolina, also that his son will have at North Carolina. Those emails, by the way, are public record, which I didn't know, but I read. So The Athletic got a hold of some of those emails and made it clear that this young woman who I'm not even going to say she's not qualified to do this. I really don't even know what she's doing. And she could be a rocket scientist for all I know. But there's nothing about this that's understated. And she's bringing a lot of heat on the two of them, which may not be a big deal. Which might be one of those things Bill Belichick his whole life has been filtering out the noise to make magic happen on the football field. You can go back to one of the most unpopular decisions in pro football history that worked out was when he decided to stick with Tom Brady when Drew Bledsoe came back and got healthy. When, man, I'm telling you, it seemed like 90% of America and 99% of New England and the surrounding areas felt like they should have gone back to Bledsoe, and now here we have it. So Bill Belichick doesn't care what you think or what I think, and that's become really clear with this whole situation. So my question, as they signed Gio Lopez out of the portal, Gio Lopez, I had watched him for a whole game this year because they played UNT. South Alabama did, and then I had UNT the next weekend. So I was watching that game so I could watch UNT, but it was undeniable that this explosive quarterback with a live arm was someone to watch, right? Who was exciting to watch, but also, I don't want to say mistake prone, but he certainly wasn't perfect. His quarterback rating on the season is 72.3, and he's a freshman or a sophomore. He started 1 year. He started 1 year of college football at South Alabama. You know, you're playing ULM, right? Louisiana Monroe. You're playing Louisiana Lafayette. You know, Texas State is probably your biggest opponent in conference, playing in the SoCon or the Sun Belt. And they played LSU, and he played okay, but they, you know, of course, they got destroyed. He had, I think, 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, but he didn't like throw for a ton of yards. It was like 2,500. But again, the quarterback rating is 72. I have a question for you, Scotty. Who is going to give Bill Belichick more headaches this season? His young girlfriend or his young quarterback?
I love that question. I'm going to say the quarterback. I'm going to say that because I think Bill cares a lot more about football and winning football than anything else.
Excuse us.
As Siri yells from Pete's laptop to interrupt me.
Okay.
Clearly disagreeing. I have a question for you in response. I do think it's going to be the quarterback.
Okay.
Just to answer your question, I have a question to you. I agree. Generally speaking, there's a lot of maxims of wisdom in the world that say you shouldn't go home with the same person you work with, right?
Yeah.
Just creates extra conflict, tension, reasons to fight, whatever, right? But what I think we can be critical of what he's having her do for the football program, but it's not any different than Dion had his son doing when he got hired, doing all the social media stuff. It's not. I mean, I understand.
Okay.
I understand it's your son versus your girlfriend. That's a totally different relationship.
No, but you're bringing up a good point. I appreciate it.
But if you're just talking about, so I agree. If I were Bill Belichick's friend, I would say, dude, don't make her come work on the football program. Like,
or would you call him up if Bill Belichick is your best friend? Would you call him up because you need your guys in your camp to be truth tellers?
Yes.
Regardless if you're an NFL coach or if you're running a Walmart, it does not matter.
Yes.
Would you say, hey, it's a little much?
I would.
And
your best point just a second ago is I think he is exposing her to more criticism and like this very public eye that she does not need to be part of. Like,
no,
because if they break up, like, is that her legacy forever? The only reason people know your name is because you were Bill Belichick's super young girlfriend. Like, that sucks, dude. So, like, I'm all for keeping her out of the public eye. I'm all for don't work with people you go home with.
Yeah.
But as far as if you're going to utilize her, having her manage his image, socials, connect with younger fans, I actually think that's pretty smart.
Wow. Okay.
And so from that perspective, as long as they're not getting into personal drama, which I don't.
We've not seen any of it. As far as we know.
I don't know a thing about their relationship.
Yeah,
obviously.
but it seems like it's going great. I think they were together before the public knew about it for a few years.
I think Belichick is way more inclined to get pissed off and impatient with a young quarterback who doesn't run the offense well than his very, very young, attractive girlfriend who's running the team's social media. I just think that like Bill's going to have much higher expectations for the quarterback.
I'll be interested to see if because that video, it went viral, and it's not necessarily fair. I mean, here I am. I should be better than even talking about this, but it's just irresistible. But I wonder if she'll tone it down a little, like for next year. Like, where will she be during the games? How will she be covered by the networks that are covering North Carolina games?
And here's where
will it be like how many times are we going to see?
Yeah, well, so
Jordan, whatever her name
here's
is.
Here's not fear is too strong a word. I have concerns for her well-being, mental health, and those things. I don't think it's going to be a big deal if Bill Belichick wins 8 games.
Yeah.
If he does better than that, great. But let's say North Carolina wins like 5 games next season. There's going to be a narrative. It's going to happen. There's going to be a narrative in the media of Did Bill Belichick give too much to this girl? Is she distracting him?
Yeah.
Has Bill Belichick lost the sauce because he's, too busy worrying about his girlfriend? She is going to become a lightning rod for criticism that's probably unwarranted if Carolina struggles. That's where I'm like, dude, we've seen way too many news stories. That girl that Pat McAfee talked about 2 months ago, right? I'm not even going to mention the story.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen way too many instances where young people, but young women in particular, get involved in sports or sports tangentially to sports. There's a story, it goes viral. There's lots of dude bros on Twitter that are just throwing grenades.
Yeah.
And their mental health just craters. And I don't want that for her. I don't want, obviously.
That is a great point. Like, and that's the thing. She's clearly taken a lot of control and appears to be the alpha in some rooms over there. And it's like, is he protecting her from herself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. But, maybe he's giving her a great opportunity.
And listen,
what the hell do I know?
And frankly,
I had to talk about it.
There's a part of me, and I'm psychoanalyzing, and maybe we're getting into dangerous waters and we should move on, but there's a part of me that would say Bill Belichick, if he is who we think he is, is probably, even if she's in her 20s, whatever, is probably not going to date a woman who can't stand up for herself. Who isn't a little prickly, strong, can kind of match his energy. Like, I don't see him dating someone who's like a pushover. So let's give her credit. Maybe she is totally capable and this is what she wants. And she's like, put me in the football program. Let me help. I want, maybe this is a career path for her, which is great.
Maybe she'll be the next Amy Trask.
That's best case scenario. And I wish that for her. Worst case scenario is Carolina wins 4 games and she becomes a story. And then all you're known as is Bill Belichick's girlfriend. And then Bill Belichick sucked at coaching afterward. And that's a real possibility. And that's not good.
No, and so that's why this situation is something that I couldn't stay away from. A lot of reasons, and my hope will be that she tones it down, still stays involved, does all the day-to-day stuff she's doing now, but just gets herself out of the crosshairs so dopes like me aren't talking about it.